Welcome to Flesh and Pod, a Flesh and Blood podcast, breaking down weekly news and notes from the tournament scene, community drama, game strategy, and more. And now, here are your hosts, Abby, Jordan, and Logan.
Hello, and welcome to episode 56 of Flesh and Pod. My name is Abby, and I'm your host. With me, as always, are Logan and Jordan. And Derek, we'll start with you, Logan. What did you do in Flesh and Pod this week? Flesh and Blood. Oh my god.
I did Abby, which is basically nothing.
Shots fired.
Well, I mean, normally it's you that said I did nothing, and now I feel like it's me that said I did nothing. Just to feel something before logging onto this show, I decided to queue up on Talishar, and I turned one channel Mount Heroic to Kano player, and had them at 2. They have no AB, and I'm like this, and I'm at 40, and I'm like, okay, this is great. Fast forward 45 seconds later, and I'm at -6, and with lethal rune chance on the stack or on the chain, as it were. And I was like, blazing ether for 31. That is 6 more than my life total. Well, I guess. Well, all right. And so that's what I did in Flesh and Blood. Otherwise, the weather here has been atrocious. So the armory that I run on Thursday nights was canceled, and I was busy on the other armory night, which was moved to a weekday, which are usually hell for me. So yeah, I just didn't do much in Flesh and Blood at all. I ordered more foils for a Briar deck just so I can look like the person that's been playing Briar forever, when I literally picked up Briar, 3 weeks ago. And started messing with it, because I think that's what's going to play during PQ season. I can't find anything else unless I decide on a whim to spend 36 hours trying to learn Kano on end, which I think means I have to start dropping acid. I think that's how that works, is you have to do psychedelics, and eventually you'll see the mathematical equation that creates the universe, at which point you have also mastered Kano. I think that's how that goes. Jordan, what did you get up to?
I don't think I did anything in Flesh and Blood. I'm trying to think. Did some collection management stuff. I had a couple of cards that were supposed to come, but then the winter happened, and they are somewhere between here and wherever they're coming from. Whether I will ever see them or not is left up for debate. That's going to be really hard to edit out. Please don't do that.
That was the last one, I promise.
Yeah, ears open. Yeah, I really don't think I got too much up into Flesh and Blood this week. I booked accommodations for Indianapolis. I've thought a little bit about ProQuest season. I really didn't play as much as like BTQs are coming up as I should be, especially since I'm like driving 3 hours to 2 of them. Like, you'd think I'd care a little bit more about prep, and I don't know if it's the old man in me or the cold or whatever, but I've kind of been really bad about it. So that's been me. Derek, what's Flesh and Blood been like for Mr. Charmer?
It's been fleshy. It's been bloody.
Oh wow!
How does that work?
Don't
answer that. Please don't. Okay.
No, the short version is I didn't do a ton like many of you, because the weather is awful. So our local events were closed, obviously with the holiday, and because I'm an old man and I've got a wife and children, I had to spend time with family instead of playing cards. Rather unfortunate, but I did manage to get a couple of test games in. I'm still undecided what I want to play for ProQuest season, and I keep winning on Bravo, and I'm not convinced that he's the right choice, but then I keep winning on him, so I don't know if I'm ever going to get off of that for this ProQuest season. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. I also have been working on trying to get things configured, because I picked up a laptop and a boom mic and a webcam and a bunch of stuff, so that I can potentially stream the ProQuests and stream some of the other things, at least here locally. Here in Michigan, Ethan Van Sant was doing a lot of that coverage, but he's moved to New York. So I'm trying to pick up where he left off. And unfortunately, my gap in production value is pretty large compared to his, just because he had a lot of time to get the kinks out. So it's going to be kind of bare bones, but I've got something workable. I've been trying to work on overlays and things like that. So a lot of my actual Flesh and Blood time this week has been mostly just preparation, whether it's for potentially future streams for the Pro Quests or what I'm playing in Pro Quests, et cetera, et cetera. So not as much actual playtime as I would like, but overall it's been good.
There you go.
Huh.
I did some stuff again.
Going out with a bang.
Going out with a bang.
That's what we like.
My wonderful husband got me packs for Christmas. So
I love that guy. He's great.
I know. I opened some cards and I got what did we get? A Marvel. Oh God, what one was it?
Blazing Yori.
Yes, the chess piece. And then basically nothing else worth mentioning. Yay.
Dynasty packs. Ew.
Listen.
Yeah. So here's
I mean,
the reason that had to happen was we got a Patreon and I didn't have like a box with just like loose packs, so I had to crack the like long hold box that we had set back.
Oh right.
And then like for one pack, because I wasn't gonna go to the store and like buy a pack. Like I don't know. I'm not going to the store to buy one pack or whatever. And then so we had like this whole box, and I was like, okay, well 6 of these are stocking stuffers for Abby, and then the rest of these we just like DJ and cracked in like the car or something, you know.
Yeah. All right.
So there's not more. I was going to ask.
Oh.
there's not more.
I know of establishments close to you, or at least pseudo close to you, where you can pick more up.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it does sound like a lot.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yep. All right, so let's get started. We have a new host starting next week. Well, this week.
This week. He's right
here. Well, yes, but like officially taking over host role, whoever does it. Anyways, Derek, why don't you do a little introduction about yourself, what you've done ahead of that transition?
Well, I haven't done anything ahead of the transition. Hello, my name is Derek, also known as Charmer, also known by several other names when people are angry at me.
Brendan Patrick, I've heard you called that.
I've been called that. I've been called Tan and Grace by people who hate me. That will start a fist fight. No, I'm just kidding. I love you, Tannen. I am somebody who's covered card games for a very long time now, and I've played them for far longer. I used to work at a comic and gaming shop where it was my job to like demo all the new games that came in. So if there is an obscure card game from like the 90s and early aughts, I've probably played it. But I fell in love with Flesh and Blood because when we were all locked up for the pandemic, I missed playing cards with folks. And so I naturally was trying to find something to do. And Flesh and Blood is just incredibly well designed. So I started playing it. I'm friends with a lot of the people who either make content for it or are very good at the game. And I have been somebody who has casted other games in the past. So if you follow digital card games, you might have seen me covering stuff like Artifact, Legends of Runeterra, the Elder Scrolls Legends, Mythgard, etc., etc. And I have now casted 2 events for Flesh and Blood for the Realm Games. So maybe you have seen me there, but yeah, that's I guess what you could say I've done as preparation for this. I haven't actually prepared for taking anything over on the show because it still feels very surreal. There's a part of me that keeps waiting for you guys to say like April Fools, because I love you too. But yeah.
Well,
Go ahead, Jordan.
yeah, we love you too, but feel free whenever.
I mean,
that's funny. No, so I guess for people that don't know, like Derek's body of work, like, and just kind of like everyone else, who is Derek? Because the running meme is like Derek is you get mistaken for people a lot,
or they just don't recognize me at all. Like
which is crazy.
I will get people that they will meet me and then they'll not realize that I'm Charmer, for example. So at the Realm event, the last one, I had people ask me if I was the LSS rep because I was there in a suit. I had people ask me if I was playing in the event, even though I was very clearly there as a caster. And they're like, "Hey man, are you playing in the event?" And I was like, "No." But even outside of stuff like that, like I've gone to other events. And, you know, I've covered Legends of Runeterra basically since the inception of that game, right? And I've cast seasonals and done a bunch of stuff for that. So at early Flesh and Blood events where Majin Bey was there, my buddy Caleb, I would have people say like, oh, hey, that's Majin Bey. I recognize him. And I'm literally standing right next to him. And they will talk to him about Runeterra for like 20 or 30 minutes. And then I'll be like, hey, you know, I'm Derek. And they're like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And they'll like not acknowledge me at all.
Wait a second. You're not Flake?
No, I'm not Flake.
Shit, I asked the wrong person to co-host. Fuck.
I was really surprised when you said Derek, Logan.
God damn it.
I've had people reintroduce themselves to me on the same night more than once. But I think my favorite one is I had somebody once on my YouTube channel comment that they were like, hey, are you the guy that just covered the Legends of Runeterra seasonal event? And I said, yeah, that was me. And he goes, oh, I was just watching that broadcast. And then YouTube recommended your channel because I was watching it. And I didn't know if you were the same guy or not. And I'm like, you literally were staring at my face. Like, how am I this unrecognizable? So my running joke is just that I'm very forgettable because people will meet me and then forget that they've met me or not recognize me. And it's just, it's fun.
Yeah, it's great for marketing going forward. Fuck.
Yeah.
God
that
damn
one
it.
cracks me the fuck up, actually. Like,
It's
you're
amazing.
watching my YouTube video.
You're looking at my face, and you show up in my YouTube and ask, is that your face?
Yes.
Who the fuck else's face is it?
Yep. That is something that happens to me.
Oh my God.
So funny.
So what we should do is like dress you up as like something utterly unrecognizable, like as the Crypt Keeper, and see if people will walk up to you and go, aren't you Charmer? Because that would be fantastic if we made you impossible to recognize unless you know it's you, and people will just immediately recognize you. Like if this is some sort of inverted fuckery that's happening that we don't even think about as humans, but they're like blind to you until they can't see you.
Yeah, it's either that or you just need somebody else to pretend to be me or even not. So one of my other favorite stories from this is that right after I cast that last Realm events, they're battle hardened. Tannen, who is a friend of mine, messaged me when he was out at Worlds, and he said, hey, somebody just asked if I was you. So somebody mistook Tannen for me. The only time I get recognized is when it's not actually me, Tannen Grace.
Okay. You don't look anything like Tannen. Or Tannen doesn't look anything like you, however that works. But yeah, I don't.
He's
I don't
clean
know.
shaven.
I mean, there's a big part of it right there. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you carry yourself with dignity. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Was that-
God.
Was that too much? Was that too much?
It's too late now.
Okay, all right.
Can't put that toothpaste back in the tube.
No, I do nothing but squirt toothpaste. Never mind. I'm not finishing that one. Jesus Christ. I am not going to lane that one.
Yep,
Nope.
there we go. Okay, so next up, we got Squeaker's Christmas. An outsider's story came out today. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, so can somebody talk to me about it?
Yeah, it's a cool little story. It involves basically what seems like a little Robin Hood mission of Dash, Arachne, Azalea, and Lena Bell delivering stolen gifts to children and evading the Metrix police. So it's quite fun actually to read, as it gives you all the quirks of all the different personalities involved. It's quite fun. Also, it confirms that Lena Bell is an alchemist. So we all kind of thought that was the case, but Lena Bell's an alchemist.
What card is she referenced on? It's one of the potions, isn't it?
Time Snap Potion. Yep.
Okay.
She is referenced there, and I think she's actually referenced on another one. But just so everybody knows, Everfest is... Oh, I got a cat coming. Okay, cool. Okay, cat has shown up.
Hi, cat.
Say hi, kitty. It's a kitty. I think Everfest right now is like 200 a case. And so if you need to get your potions in case the Alchemist is good, go buy some Everfest at 200 a case. Because if those are good, because they do something with an Alchemist, they're going to be very expensive. That is my advice.
Jordan, do we need Everfest?
No.
Oh. Fine.
I mean, but you can get the cold foil potions and talismans
Oh, wow.
and
I think
what are the
This
other
is like when
things?
Dagan tells me to buy GameStop.
Amulets.
Like, I'm not.
Oh.
I'm not going to buy GameStop, Dagan. I'm just going to like continue to put money into my index funds and like my money manager tells me to.
You're not going to chase Revlon stock? How dare you?
Yeah. Oh, I really got to hope this receivership hearing goes well today. Like, leave me alone, Dagan. Leave me alone.
It's beautiful. It is amazingly fun how that all comes down. It makes me giggle.
Oh my god.
All right. Sorry, go ahead, Derek.
I wanted to say, well, I wanted to say real quick before we leave the adorable story. It is just a nice, heartwarming, Christmas-themed tale, and it would be very easy to say, like, oh, it's cute, LSS did this. But there is something that I kind of wanted to hit on, which is when you're on the website and when you're getting ready to click on the article, it definitely says Outsiders, right? It's got the logo. The upcoming set. And it's very interesting to me that the characters in this set, in the story, are ones that could be in the set, is what I was trying to get to, right? So Dash just got some support, and Arachne just got some support, and technically Azalea with some of the arrows all got support in Dynasty, but they're also all characters I could very well see fit the theme of Outsiders based on what we know from the set so far, and the fact that it's those three specifically in a story that's meant to be quote unquote an outsider story makes me wonder if we're going to get them as heroes in this set again, right? So are we going to get a different Dash, or is it going to be the same Dash but with more support? It would not surprise me at all if Arachne was there, just because they just introduced him, and so let's give him another shot at being in a core set. Kind of the same way they did with Icelander, right? So like we got Icelander, and then she was in a core set. I could see them doing the same thing with Arachne, but I wanted to get your thoughts, everybody here, on whether or not you think we're going to get the same Dash in Azalea, like a revisit to them, because we haven't seen them since Arcane Rising, or are we going to get new versions of them, but support for maybe two different types of that hero? Like, I think there's a lot of wiggle room here that they could work with.
So, I think that what did I say like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, where I thought it was going to be Lena Bell, Arachne, Azalea, and Chain, I think was what I said. Because James White in an interview had alluded to one of the characters in Outsiders being a previously Living Legend character. However, I could also see Lena not getting her own card yet, and you end up with a talented Azalea with the Pitts talent, a talented Dash with the Pitts talent. So she'd be like the Pitts mechanologist, I guess. I don't know how that works. The Arachne reprint, and then Chain or something along those lines, or Prism, because the sort of moral's the wrong term. Maybe it's the right term. I don't know. But the kind of point of the story was the robbing from the rich to give to the poor, and Prism seems to be on the rich side of things to me. Yeah. So that's kind of where my brain went. If we get a Dash, it'd be a talented Dash, but I don't know. I think that's very cool that they put that in there. I do love the character of Lena Bell already. She just seems fun as hell. But yeah, I think that we definitely could just see these four with a talented Dash pretty easily, and a talented Azalea. I don't know what that talent is, because we don't know what the Pitts talent is yet either.
Interesting. Jordan?
I hope that we get the same ones, personally. These heroes like need support as their base level. I'd hate to just like move on from them. The only way that I think I'd be okay with that maybe is if like LSS just like sort of acknowledges that, hey, like the text box of these characters, like Azalea, right? Just the text box just sucks, and there's only so much you can do with the text box that it has, and we need to give it more. I guess like I would be okay with like that, but that's how I would take it. It's like an admission of defeat that like Azalea was just like bad, and like there's no amount of like reasonable cards they can print that would fix it. Maybe that's wrong. I could be wrong there, and that like there's a host of reasons, or Azalea isn't bad or whatever. But I would hope that they could just figure out a way to like make the heroes that we have good, as opposed to like make new ones and then still kind of shove these ones out. Because your Azalea stands, like your Cult of Azalea people, they will still like the original and still try to make her work, and they'll still be disappointed, right, if they don't get like a thing to make their lady work. So I guess I hope that we see new ones, but I guess it wouldn't surprise me either. Like, I don't
Well,
know.
the Azalea bounty is exactly tied to Scotch, by the way. Azalea Ace in the Hole specifically. So that's going to always push people to play Azalea Ace in the Hole, because the bounty exists, which is still crazy, and people do chase it. So I think everybody wants to be the Azalea, the person that breaks it, the person that finally gets there with Azalea Ace in the Hole. So I don't think that'll change even if they make a different talented Azalea.
So what's interesting to me, and one of the reasons I mentioned it, is that in another interview, or maybe it was just in a conversation that I had with Brian myself. Sometimes I forget what he said publicly and what he said in passing. But anyway, we're just going to pretend like this is public knowledge. I remember it being said that Arachne was originally supposed to be a part of Arcane Rising.
Yep.
And then was kind of shuffled away at the last moment because they just couldn't feel like they made it work. But it made sense within the theme of that set, because when you look at the majority of that set, that was a set that was based around the top of your deck matters, right? Dash with the boost mechanic, Azalea with the dominate mechanic, Kano looking at the top, and then you had Viserai. And I think that was supposed to be Arachne because he cares with the contracts and his own hero ability. So given that we now just got Arachne in Dynasty, and that some of those other characters got support, they introduced this new aim mechanic potentially for Azalea, we got more dash support, and then you look at this story, it wouldn't shock me if we get just old Azalea, old dash, Arachne. It's almost like an Arcane Rising 2.0. And then this is why I've been thinking about it. So we could get Lena Bell, but based on what James said, where if we're going to get a previously living legend character, I agree that I think it could be Chain as a revisit, because this would just be like the Viserai in the set again, but instead it's now Chain. And I could see them doing something where you still play into the top of the deck matters theme, but maybe that's the way you revisit Blood Debt, right? So instead of it just being Shackles, it could be like you look at the top, X cards of your deck and you pick a Blood Debt to banish or whatever, right? Like there's a lot of different ways you could work that in, but you could make that, the Blood Debt cards matter on the top of the deck as well as in the banish, and I think do a lot with that. And it also, I think, works very interesting if you introduce Chain specifically with Blood Debt cards in a set with Arachne, because now it's that double-edged sword of you need to banish things to complete your contracts, but you're potentially helping a Chain.
Giving gas, yeah.
So I think that there's a lot of really cool interplay there. And I don't have any inside track. I only saw this story today, but that's what I've been thinking about since I read it.
That limited is giving me the flutters. Just thinking about that limited environment is making me all sorts of excited to try to play that. That just and that kind of feeds in because again, going back to the James White interviews, they talked about it being kind of WTR-ish, where it's every hero is viable, but there's tension. Right, like through everything. So it's, WTR is great because it's heavily generic focused and it rewards knowing the best cards that are the cards that are best in a vacuum, in what direction to go to what's open. So basically, it starts boiling down a little bit to Razor Reflex versus Pummel decks. Like, which one are you? And this kind of in that same kind of interplay. And then you kind of talent around those generics. That could be very interesting for Arachne, Chain, and then a dash with a boost. Again, you kind of run into some of that where there's a tension between, okay, I'm playing against Arachne and I'm boosting and they're exiling cards off the top of my deck. Like, can I do this fast enough to kill them? And then it just kind of also depends on what the Azalea does. If the Azalea banishes cards to banishes arrows and they can play arrows from banish zones, I mean, that sounds very Shadow, which is not a Pits thing, but that also could just start playing into it too, where the size of your deck starts to be a real consideration in this limited environment, and that's interesting. Having playable cards is super interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm just excited to draft, to be honest. I don't even care how the limited environment is.
I can't wait till
a set that
next.
I can. Yeah, he doesn't give a shit if it's draftable or not.
Nope, just wants the bus packs.
So every set, I have this dream of, like, back in Magic, we would have draft boot camp weekends, where you just like get together and draft on release weekends, and everybody brings a box or more, and you just draft, and like it's your little heart's content, And we buy a lot of cases because we're degenerates and hate money, and one of the things I yearn for is to use these for that. But I live with an addict that I'm like, hey, I want to save this case to draft with. And then I come back and it's like, hey, are we opening these tonight? And it's like, did I hear a fucking word I just said? Most couples argue about money, right? Most couples in America, they argue about money. Not in my house. We argue about goddamn flesh and blood packs.
Have you considered like putting the packs out of her reach?
No.
Like putting them on a shelf she can't get to.
I'd come home to like milk cartons stacked on top of each other.
Have you seen Violent Night yet?
Huh.
Can you set up a very vicious Home Alone style scenario of booby traps that she would never dare to try to get through to get to the packs?
Absolutely.
I'm just imagining visiting their house, and then like you go down to the basement, and you're like, "Oh man, I didn't know you were a big gun enthusiast." And
there's no basement.
No, that's a gun safe filled with cases. Right? Like, that's from Abby.
Oh, God. She can't get the combo. She'll have to pry it from my cold, dead hands.
Oh, my God. Like, oh, what are you storing in here, buddy? What kind of guns you got? No, sir.
No, sir.
Yeah,
No, sir.
Got a bunker that looks
That's
like
WTR.
paper, but it's just WTR Alpha.
My Second Amendment stands for don't crack packs without drafting them. Yeah.
God damn it.
Good Lord.
Oh, that's so like, okay, quick one. Because this is on the list, but quick one. Jordan, top 5 Christmas movies, go.
Christmas Carol via the Muppets, Elf, Chevy Chase's Christmas Vacation, probably the original, like the thing with the Island of Misfits Toy, the original Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I like that one a lot. And then actually this one has creeped up there the past 2 years. 8-Bit.
8-Bit.
Oh, that's a good one.
On HBO.
All right.
Yeah,
That's a hidden gem. Like that's a good one.
brand new.
Derek,
like just last year.
Derek, do you have a list?
Yeah, of course I do.
I think everybody does, honestly.
Yeah, it's Die Hard, it's Fellowship of the Ring, it's Scrooged. Because I think that one, I love the Muppets.
Underrated.
Don't get me wrong, but I think Scrooged doesn't get the respect it deserves as well.
Criminally underrated.
Fantastic. And then It's a Wonderful Life, not only because it's a classic, but also because it's the best description of America I can think of. A man experiences financial ruin, and his first thought is, I should commit suicide. And then he has to have a literal miracle to stop him from doing that. So,
Sure.
you know,
Wow, that is America. Holy shit.
It is. It's so amazing that like we saw that movie, and instead of it being like, oh my God, that's a tragedy, it's like, oh, it's in the zeitgeist now. That's American culture. I accept it. So that one's in there. And then Elf would be in my top 5 as well.
Abby, go.
Elf is number 1. Jim Carrey's The Grinch is number 2. Chevy Chase, The Christmas is number 3. The original Grinch, the cartoon one, number 4.
Wow, we're double Grinch.
We're
2x Grinch.
It is my.
Are you secretly a Who?
Spoiler alert: the
yes,
fifth one is also the Grinch.
And then number 5 is Love Actually.
Okay.
Oh, that's
okay.
a good one.
I did post this on Twitter, but it is, for me, it's Die Hard at number 1. It is on the list for the greatest action movie of all time, so it's kind of hard not to put it as the greatest Christmas movie of all time. Number 2 is Better Off Dead, a very unrecognized and shit on John Cusack vehicle that is very 1980s. You should watch it and then probably be very, very high while watching it. It definitely helps. Number 3 is Gremlins. I'm a giant Gremlins fan, and that is one hell of a Christmas movie. Now, I will say that Scrooged used to be on the list. Scrooged got bumped by Violent Night. So Violent Night goes to 4, which is about it's the origin story of Santa Claus. He was a Viking.
Is that the one with the guy from
David Harbour?
Yes.
Stranger Things. Yeah, David Harbour. Yep.
And
Yep.
Black Widow. Okay.
I don't know that we've ever snap bought a movie on Amazon Prime as fast as we bought Violent Night as soon as it was available for purchase. And then right now it's Christmas Vacation gets the 5 spot. That is a very spot in flux because there's a lot of movies that have made their way in over time. I'm not a huge Elf stan, although that one has warmed up to me a bit. Jon Favreau's very good at directing movies. Will Ferrell's just a little obnoxious in it, which isn't my favorite. But I stand Bob Newhart pretty hard, and James Caan is like perfect. So why would we mess with that? And then Christmas Story has always been kind of one of those, staple movies over the course of my life. And so that always had a spot until it also got bumped. So that's where I'm at.
Love your list. I despise A Christmas Story.
It's off the list now, though.
So
you can't hate the list.
I hate that movie.
Yeah, either you love it or you fucking just hate it with the passion of 1,000 suns. It's one of the two.
No. Okay, one more off topic and then we'll move on because now I'm curious. What is everybody's favorite movie of all time? I know Jordan's. Jordan, go first.
Jordan's is easy.
Oh, Derek, can you guess mine?
Can I guess yours? It's got to be something with baseball, right? So
yeah,
it's either Field of Dreams or Moneyball.
It's Moneyball. Holy shit!
It's Moneyball. It is Moneyball.
This guy.
Look at this fucking guy.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I got Jordan a dope Christmas Moneyball present.
Really?
Hasn't
signed by Billy
arrived.
Bean.
That's actually really cool.
Oh wow, that's actually super cool.
Yeah.
Man,
Maybe it'll get here. Maybe the
Yeah,
weather will let it get here.
Maybe eventually. That's a good work by Derek. Derek, what's yours?
Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay.
Very good.
I have a very strict, like, if it's on, like, I will watch it, and I watch it several times a year. And the minute my kids were like old enough to speak, I had them watch it. It just, I don't know, just embodies everything about my childhood that I enjoy, but it also holds up really well. So
shockingly, it does. You would think that 1992 special effects would 30 years later not hold up, but you watch that movie and it still looks amazing.
It's that mix of practical, man. Practical.
I know.
The
Practical's the
respect
best
that it deserves, but also, if I'm being honest, the other big factor is John Williams' score. Like,
oh, I mean,
sure.
Every time.
There's so many good movies that I am huge fans of just because of John Williams, and I don't even realize it till after the fact, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I love that movie.
I would love
Williams.
a dueling orchestra setup of Danny Elfman versus John Williams. That would be amazing to just listen to them fire off against each other. But that's just a me thing, I guess. Abby, what's yours? You asked the question.
Shawshank Redemption.
A Mansfield thing. Yeah, that makes sense.
Also a great movie. It's not just
it's a fantastic
movie.
movie.
IMDb, right?
It's also an IMDb 100 movie, so I guess it's acceptable. If you're my drop everything movie, this is going to sound really random because it's not my favorite movie, but it's my drop everything movie. Is Army of Darkness. I will drop everything if it's on and just watch Army of Darkness. It is utterly hilarious, and I just enjoy Bruce Campbell that much. My favorite movie is probably The Big Lebowski. Again, a movie I've seen too many times to count. And I have this is a Big Lebowski highball glass. Like we're invested over here. So that's probably my favorite, although there's a lot of like conditions to what my favorite is at any point in time. I've seen a lot of movies, so that'll happen.
That's just like your opinion, man.
Obviously, you're not a golfer. That is the best line in that is the best line in that movie by a mile. And people are just like, "Why is that funny?" And I'm like, "Oh, come the fuck on."
Yeah, I forgot to mention that Moneyball is a Christmas movie, and I am sorry for not bringing it up. And to anyone that's in my yearly Moneyball is a Christmas movie Twitter replies, I apologize. There's a group of us that I don't know them at all. Besides that, every year on Christmas, we like respond to this tweet because this one guy one year responded to a Moneyball memes account saying he wanted to watch Moneyball, but his wife said it wasn't a Christmas movie, so he needed replies saying that it was. And so me and like 5 other dudes, it's been 3 years in a row now we've done this. Like we just like reply and go, "Hey, have you watched the Christmas movie yet?" Don't know these guys for shit. They could be fake. They could be Russians. Who knows? Like I'm out here.
They're just bots. Like,
dude, they really are just bots, and like I'm replying to myself basically. But I have so much fun. I tell Abby, like I'm like, "Oh, the Christmas guys, like
got him again."
Yeah, it's like I used to be in a Facebook group chat with a bunch of Jordan Kennedys. Somebody just added a bunch of Jordan Kennedys to a Facebook group chat. And it is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Oh my god! I mean, you have your wife is on this fucking podcast, and you're going to say this group of Jordan Kennedys is the best thing that ever happened. Oh, all right. As long as we get it.
Listen, the name thing stands out. I'll tell you one of the weirdest stories that has ever happened to me is somebody who doesn't get recognized very often. This was really up there for me. One day out of the blue on Twitter, I got a notification that somebody had like pinged me, and it was Derek Robertson pinging Patton Oswalt to say, see, it does exist because my name is Derek Oswalt. And so it was Derek Robertson combined with Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt. Yep.
And they're good friends. And so like, as a result of that exchange, like I routinely send messages back and forth to Derek Robertson now, and we're like pseudo friends because we shared the same first name and it's spelled weird. So I don't know. It was just very weird that like my name was a reason that they found me out of nowhere, and now I just am like, oh yeah, hey, Merry Christmas, Derek. Merry Christmas, Derek.
That's
Can we get him on the show? Can we get him on the show? You think?
Whatever. I don't think he plays Flesh and Blood, but.
I mean,
well, I don't. And I was on the show for
56
weeks.
Yeah, I must say, not a prerequisite. I mean,
That's fair.
I mean, Flake's been on the show how many times?
Damn. It's a good Hearthstone reference.
All right. So next up, this is the last episode before New Year's. So do you each have any Flesh and Blood New Year's resolutions and or not fab resolutions?
So lately in my life, we have a listener. His name in our Discord is Big Lou. He'll appreciate this thing. Lately I've been big on themes of like for years as opposed to resolutions. I find the concept of like a resolution too binary, like too pass fail. And we adopted the system, Big Lou and I, from this podcast called Cortex, and one of our favorite YouTubers, CGP Gray, who people that have been around YouTube a long time will know, like Gray stuff, very good, like just fun information videos. And the cool thing about the system is it allows you to like develop like a structure for the year, so that when you're making decisions or like committing to things or like decommitting from things, like you can process it through this filter of your theme, and that can help build this idea of whether you're having a good year or not. And so my theme of 2023 is intentionality. And that's behind all of the things I want to do, including Flesh and Blood. So when it comes to Flesh and Blood, when I play like casual practice games, I want it to be much more, when I play Flesh and Blood, I want it to be much more intentional for my purpose, I guess. I don't like, how should I say this? I don't like playing with no objective in mind. And I like the idea of making my games matter more and getting better when I play, not just like passively clicking cards or passively playing cards. Otherwise in life, I think I want to recapture some time. A large part of that is like no shock to any listener of the show. And otherwise just kind of making sure that I'm spending my time in like ways that I want that like capture like other goals, or that I can at least like account to myself that I've been productive in life. And I think a large part of that is, coming around. It's going to be a good year. What about you guys?
I mean, for me, Flesh and Blood wise, I would like to qualify for a pro tour. Simple, easy, straightforward. I do appreciate the themes. I hate resolutions for exactly what Jordan said. The pass fail nature makes it so that you do unhealthy things to create the pass, to create the binary 1 versus the binary 0. And did I say that right? And it doesn't matter. And so that's why I don't like resolutions as much. So I do identify with what Jordan's saying with intentionality, and also explains why he's leaving the show, because why the fuck would you ever want to do this? Derek, don't listen. And I guess for me, like, I want to qualify for the pro tour. The methodology behind that is a whatever. I definitely don't want to have to pay for it, but that's 6 1/2 dozen the other. I would like to formally bet Jordan.
Oh boy.
That I still have my $1 that Flake sent me, and I would like to gamble the Flake dollar.
Okay.
That I will qualify for the pro tour via not purchasing a PTI before you do.
No bet.
What?
You absolutely will.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I'd have to give a shit. Yeah, sure. I agree. Can I get that side? Does anybody want the other side? I'll give you 1,000,000 to 1. What the fuck? I'll just not play a PTQ. What the fuck? Yeah.
Hear me out though, Jordan. What if like one of the ProQuest seasons is limited and we get together and we have like a draft boot camp and I help
We
you
can't do
get
that.
really good? I think you could pull it out. I think that you could beat Logan to it.
I wouldn't make it to a draft boot camp. My wife would steal my entry boxes to the camp. No, if there were a limited PT that qualified via limited, I would be much more inclined to be like, holy shit, I'll really try. And that's not to say that, like, I don't know, maybe no bet.
No bet. Okay. That is the first time any wager has ever been turned down.
Yes.
In the history of Jordan and I's friendship, which dates back a decade. This is the first time somebody has said no bet.
I love that you were incredulous about it. Like, wait, what? Can you say that?
Can't
Is that
believe
allowed?
it. It's a fucking $1. And
if you want $1, okay, Logan, I'll give you $1.
no, I was gifted this $1, and I think it was gifted to me. I feel in my heart it was gifted to me specifically to bet. And I need to find a proper bet for this one American dollar. This is an American dollar. Flake lives in Toronto. That's in Canada. He sent me real money. Yeah, he sent me real money, not that fake shit. So it's like a real thing to bet this $1. And I cannot think of any other reason that he would send this to me other than to gamble it. And so I've got to find a way to gamble this $1. It's very important to me. I guess my non-New Year, my non-Fab resolution would be to maintain relationships. I'm not the best at it. In a lot of ways, I trail off. I sort of forget. I get too caught up in my own shit, and it doesn't help. You know, it does. Everything's a two-way street, right? And you can't be any extreme on it. If you are the extreme on it, it's probably bad. It's probably unhealthy. But I need to be better at my side of it. I need to be better at reaching out, checking on people, making sure people know that they're loved, that they're valued, that they're important. And that's something that I need to take more of an active role in. It's been very easy for me. Like 2022 was great in that regard, but a lot of that was because I talked to you two every week. And almost every. Some people took some weeks off. That's fine. And but that was part of what made me realize how important it was to me to make sure that I am checking in, that I am being a good friend, a good steward of friendships, and I think that that's what I need to be better at. So it's one of my goals for this year is to just be better at that part, be better at making sure I'm holding up my end of the bargain.
Derek?
Let's see. My Flesh and Blood resolution is to just cast more events with friends and people that I love. I mean, it sounds so simple and easy, but it's not. There's a lot of very talented people who love Flesh and Blood, and I have to, unfortunately, as a result of that, compete with friends to work with friends. I think that's something that doesn't often get highlighted a lot when you think about like talent covering card games, or, you know, I also do esports stuff, etc. Is that the same people that you love to work with, you're also fighting with to get a job, right? So like I want to cast with Flake and Brendan Patrick, and then some of the other people I haven't worked with yet. So like Uber and Doa and Tannen and I have been to a lot of events together, but haven't actually cast together yet. Like I'd love, I know it sounds weird, but I'd love to cast with Tannen as well. But those are also the same people that like are all fighting for the same job. So I just, however it works out, want the opportunity to cast more events and spend time with the people I love, because that's the main reason that I dove back into playing physical card games to begin with, is just that the people are what makes it fun and important, right? It's you sitting across from a table with friends, or sometimes it's strangers that become friends or whatever. And it's the same thing when you're in a booth. You get to talk about something you love, share that commonality. And that's what I want to do, Flesh and Blood related. I mean, there's a bunch of other stuff I want to do, but that's like the big one. Non-Flesh and Blood related, I don't I don't know. I guess travel more. I've been trying to do it more in general. I took a couple of trips this past year. I took my wife to Iceland for her 15th anniversary, for example, things like that. But really, it's just making sure that I don't stay in my bubble, and not just, locally and so forth, but just really exposing myself to the rest of the world and other cultures and so forth. I find that I learn more about myself and the things that I like when I do those things. It was a pretty big awakening for me. So like back when I covered Artifact, for example, I went to Kyiv because that's where We Play Studios were. And so like I've been to Ukraine a couple of times, and I loved that city, and it breaks my heart, everything that's going on there now. But like that experience and like learning about their history and visiting their national museum and doing all those things like really changed my outlook. And so since that point, I've been trying to travel more.
Abigail, your turn.
I'm going to start with my not Fab related one. I do the same New Year's resolution every year. It's to read 52 books. I finished 85 today.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do you get to bank the extras?
No.
Oh, okay.
For the next like
sorry.
4 years.
I could, but like I enjoy reading. I read all the time. So that is my not Flesh and Blood one. My Flesh and Blood one actually kind of takes us into the next segment, but I do want to touch on it. My Flesh and Blood goal next year is to play as much as I want. I don't think it's I don't know how many drinks you're on. 7 drink show.
I had 3 fingers of scotch.
I don't know.
2 French 75s.
There you go. Yeah.
Cheers.
There you go. I want to play as much as I want to. It's not a secret to anyone who's ever listened to any of the episodes that I had multiple weeks, sometimes in like 5, 6, 7 weeks ago, where I didn't do anything because it didn't call to me. I didn't feel it. But when I do it, I love it, and I want to keep that same thing going. And that was one of the things that was brought up in the like last feedback. Give us your favorite parts of the show. From Teeter Dance was my favorite part are the weeks where people don't play because it makes me feel less bad about missing events. And you shouldn't have to feel bad about it. I mean, this is a game that people do for fun. Some people take it, more seriously because they're more competitive, but I'm not going to, break my back to play a game that I'm not going to like because, I felt like I needed to play it all the time. So that's my goal for next year. I would also like to win another event.
I feel really bad because I know that Abby didn't get to play a lot this past year, and the few times she did get to play, she ran into me. I think I'm like 3-0 against Abby this past year, and now I feel awful about it.
This fucking body and kids that just want to have fun playing a card game.
Wow,
It's just like, I just want to have fun, and I'm like, die.
So wait a second. I've never lost to Abby. Derek's never lost to Abby. Jordan, have you lost to Abby?
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Okay, just making sure.
I have a 20% win percentage against Abby.
Yeah. that doesn't surprise me because I know we discussed it when it happened, but I nearly needed to change my pants when I play against Abby, and I just went no blocks because I thought I was just dead, and it was like, okay, go to 1. I'm like, whew, okay, whew, that was important. Now, that being said, it's no shame. Like there is no shame to losing to Abby because, like I said, that was some seat of my pants bullshit. She pitched her favorite card. How am I not supposed to believe that he doesn't have another one sitting in her arsenal? Like,
I love that card.
I have no choice. Like, but at that point in time, there's no way to win otherwise. I can't give her another turn because I'm just dead. So that was actually what I think. If I'm going to go back in the year and think about my Flesh and Blood year, I think that was my favorite game I played because 1, it was against somebody I care about, and those are fun, right? Especially when the stakes aren't super high. And in this case, I think that Abby's team had basically already won, or already had it sewed up, or was really close. And second that was a hell of a game. It was fucking hard, and both of us wanted to win, like hardcore wanted to win. and we both played with insane focus. Like, we wanted to win. There was no, oh, I guess. It was all, no. We both want this a lot, and so let's go. And God, it was fun. I just got pushed and pushed and pushed in that game, and I had to just maintain the course and understand what my outs were. But I did think I was dead. I, honest to Christ, thought I was just fucking dead.
It broke my heart to have to pitch that card.
I'm sure it did.
Just for if we're going to continue building like the A is better than B, better than C, I'm undefeated against Matt DeMarco in both paper and on Talishar. So I don't know how that messes up our order, but
I am 0-1 against Matt DeMarco.
oh, that's right, because you guys had an actual draw.
Yeah, I had an actual draw.
Easy thing.
I am XO lifetime against Jerry Thompson in Magic. Does that count?
Well, that's
Sure.
not Matt DeMarco. So
No, it's somebody who actually won a Pro Tour.
that's fair. So you're basically a Pro Tour champion. I owe you
Yeah,
$1
I
or
mean,
something. But,
much like Magic Pro Tour champion Even Flock.
oh, but, okay, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Well done. Oh wow. Okay. All right.
You see me now.
While I have no victories against him, I can at least say that I've never lost to the pill guy.
Damn it. Oh my God. Listen. Okay, listen. I don't want to talk about it.
Fucking Pill Guy lent Elaine did you see that he lent Elaine like a gold foil Grasp of the Arknight to use that's graded?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Actually.
I'm like, well, okay, that's super cool, but at least we know he has more than pills now, but we also understand how he can afford a cold foil Grasp, right? Like a little taste first, and then it's going to cost you. Like, it's not free. We get it. We get where he's going with this. Elaine's dealer is just sucking her in. It's just horrifying.
Getting caught in the grasp of the Arknight is like street slang and fab for being addicted to heroin. Oh man, I took one hit and now I'm caught in the grasp of the Arknight.
Oh my God.
What has happened here?
It'll soon turn you into a carrion husk.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom and fire up this spoon so that I can make a rune chain or two.
God, I love the relentlessness with which Derek has attacked Pill Guy. It's just insane.
I don't even know this guy's name.
No clue, not a clue.
Not a
Oh my
clue.
God.
Pill Guy, I'm sorry. If we've met before and we had a pleasant interaction, I do apologize. This is just one of the best bits in the fucking world. And there's no way we're not going to continue hammering on this. It's too good.
The only thing that I think tops it is Elaine's weird aversion to dice, but outside of that, Pill Guy's pretty top there.
I mean, I used AI art, which is something that I'm on the fence about. It's not we're not an AI art show by any stretch of the imagination. But I used that just to torment Elaine, and I felt like it was using evil for evil purposes, and that makes it good. If you multiply a negative by another negative, it's a positive, right? It's the same principle. It's all math.
No, I don't think that's how that works one bit, actually.
You don't have to. It's math. You can't not believe math.
I
God.
I can believe in war crimes. I'll put it that way.
Okay, well, that's fair.
Boy.
I don't think I committed any war crimes, but okay.
Abby, is there a transition
Okay,
to be
yeah,
had here?
I don't know what
If
happened.
the queen of the segue cannot make this work, that means we're so far off.
Like,
Hold on.
Derek
I
will keep
would've-
me on track, and I was like, oh boy.
I would like to be clear that I had a great segue for this, and then I don't know what you guys did. So, so Logan asked in our Discord for everybody to share some of their favorite segments, general things, obvious nonsense that they have had over the past year. So we will go through. I already went through one, so I'll let somebody else pick one now.
So this is the question. Yeah, the question was posted, and the first thing that showed up was Tommy Fresh, aka Tommy Hendricks, with just a straight up booty at Elaine. This is in reference to Elaine saying "boudet" over and over again, and us not having any idea what she's talking about. After she had said, "I only eat birds," which is in and of itself one of the most ludicrous fucking statements I've ever heard anybody make with pure certainty. But She said she had unintentionally but intentionally given herself poison or food poisoning from Boudet. And both Tommy and I are like, you were eating ass? I don't get it. And then she had to explain to us that it was boudin, as in boudin, as in the cuisine from New Orleans, which is effectively a sausage. And at that, that sounded bad too. And so at that point in time, we definitely had ourselves a giant laugh going, because that was very close to another time that is referenced further down. Elaine gets a lot of marks in this one, by the way. She is on this at least twice.
I had it, then I lost it because I was AI generating a lane running from dice.
I'll go to the next one because this is also one of mine specifically, which is somebody said mine is Alexa, set a 30-second timer. Oh shit, there's an Alexa behind me. And it was actually Siri. It wasn't Alexa, but this is going to go off. There's nothing I can do about it. And that was to make sure that I let enough lead time before I said fuck. And then immediately when that timer went off, I gave as hard a fuck as I could for the podcast. This is for the health of the algorithm, Jordan. I did that for you because I care about you.
Can't figure out is it's simple time deception. You're right. Yeah, that's
you
30.5 seconds.
You told me 30 seconds. Alexa, stop. You told me that I had to wait 30 seconds, and I did. I did what you asked because I care about you, and I care about your feelings and needs inside of everything we do. So I set that 30-second timer.
Your listener, it was at that point that Flesh and Pod legal memos got much more descriptive. It used to be pretty quick Discord messages, then they became full memos.
By the way, Flesh and Pod legal is not changing. It is still the trash can beside Jordan's desk.
Yeah.
It's the same place. Same place.
My dad had a funny bit of that yesterday. He was like, "Oh yeah, the complaint box, it's right here, but we check it once a year. We checked it yesterday." And I thought that was a really good way to,
that's pretty good.
Oh, that was a pretty good thing.
Your dad's a legend, so there is that.
Yeah, that's something. I'll take the next two, I guess. Derek put one in there that was just the baseball bits being some of his favorite segments. Last week was off the chain.
Oh my god! I listened to that show and went, God, what were we fucking doing?
I tried.
Baseball.
Ugh.
I didn't even say the baseball bits. I literally just one worded it. I was just like baseball.
Baseball.
That's my favorite part. Baseball.
I love baseball. Jordan loves baseball. It's going to be hard to keep baseball out of things. Like, it's just not. It's not a thing.
Yeah, as much as I like Flesh and Blood, I would burn every Fab TCG card in the entire world to preserve the sanctity of baseball. So I would burn LSS's headquarters. Like, it not even a question. I love that game more than anything.
Okay. I'm really glad that you're leaving the show all of a sudden, because the person that wants to commit arson on LSS's headquarters is leaving is probably better for us
in the long run. Scenario where committing arson saves like ideas like sports, the concept of arson probably doesn't even apply. So, like if someone ever, like if you get presented with a scenario where they're like, listen, you can save the world, or you could save like, I don't know, like Pokemon cards, but to do it, you have to burn soft pretzels.
Oh, the cards are gone.
Absolutely not.
What the fuck? Those cards are dead. Give me my soft pretzel, you son of a bitch.
My point mostly being that, like, in that universe, the rules don't apply anymore, right?
Do you understand how good an Auntie Anne's pretzel is? Do you have a concept in your fucking head?
Well, I appreciate that you think Auntie Anne's are the peak pretzel, but you do live in Iowa, so I use
they're not the peak pretzel, but they are like a C tier pretzel, and I would take them over Pokemon cards any fucking day of the week. I would incinerate those cards while they're in the hands of children to save the soft pretzel, you motherfucker.
Okay.
What's the soft pretzels at Disney, Abby? What's the brand?
A Mickey pretzel?
No. It's like the downtown Disney. And like the...
Is it Wenzel's? Is it Wenzel's?
It's Wenzel's.
Yeah, Wenzel's is bomb. Like, that is A tier. So...
I would vote to defund orphanages to have a Mickey pretzel every day.
Oh my god. Okay.
When you go to Disney World, that's basically what you're doing. So.
Okay. First, listen. Hold on. It's happening.
He got buried.
Oh,
the hand. Okay, well, I'm not going to miss that.
All right, let's get back on topic. Jesus Christ. Jordan, are you doing another one?
And then someone also Farcist.
Farcist. Are you fucking with me? You can't pronounce farcist?
Farcist.
Okay.
Listen, I went to public school in Ohio. What do you want from me?
I went to public school in Iowa. Don't judge.
Yeah, that's fair. I like how Tarek was Canadian and American champ at the same time. Very Flesh and Pod specific. I like it.
Tarek Two Belts was actually a thing that we did coin, so
True.
that we can hang our hat on that one. That Tarek Two Belts was ours. But that was, God, he was good. I mean, he had a year, not a Michael Hamilton year, but he had a year.
Yeah, here's what's crazy is like Tarek had arguably a top 5 card performance of all time for a year, and it's outshadowed by Michael Hamilton having the best card year performance in the history of TCGs. It's sort of nuts.
It's like, yeah, that's a lot.
Derek?
Yeah.
You can have the last one, Derek, if you want it.
Sure.
Oh, no, there's a couple others here, too.
Well, the one I was going to take anyway was Sleepy Jackal, who said, my favorite segment was all of it. It was a good show hosted by good people that set the foundation for a good community full of good people and good times. And that is a good response from a good listener. Thank you for being so good-natured about all of this good fun that we're having.
So, Derek, what you might not know is the Jackal is the MVP of our Discord. That dude is
my name.
Okay. Well, you have work. You have work to do if you want that title, sir. The Jackal did so many things that are even very difficult to put into words, as far as directing conversations, basically acting as a mod when we never asked him to, and to the point that he was the first Fapper. That name is sticking, by the way. You can go fuck yourself asking for another label. But
I never asked for another label. I said we have to talk about it.
The conversation is done. And so he was the first Fapper that I met in person. He, outside of Jordan, Abby, myself, and because I was in Orlando, where he is semi close to, and he drove and met me, and the dude's great. There's no two ways. And he just found out very recently, as of yesterday, because he had taken a little bit of a lapse from the game, to find out that Jordan and Abby were leaving. And he basically just started messaging me in a panic. What the hell's happening? Did you piss them off? Which maybe I did. I don't actually know. But asking, why are they leaving? What's going on? What the fuck's happening in Fapland? Which that's canonical now. Fapland is a place. So I, know, as far as I know, everything's fine on their end. They just needed to make some time. They needed to, and I've always known from day one, I've always known that if time became an issue, if there was ever something had to give on your end, it would be this. I understood that from the first day that we started doing this, and understood very heavily that could be a reality. That didn't make it not suck. That made it something that I at least was braced enough for, that it didn't turn me into a puddle. So we take those. That's a lowercase w in this case. The capital W is that Derek said yes to hosting this thing with me, which I am going to make sure he lives to regret. But the fact of the matter is that with this show, the reason I know I've talked about this before, the reason that I couldn't let it go, the reason that I couldn't just say, Jordan and Abby are gone, we're done, is this community, are the people we've met along the way, the community we've built, and everything that we have done to make a accepting place for everybody to kind of come and say, these are friends talking about something I like, and I get to listen for an hour a week and escape and act like I'm sitting around a bar having a drink with them. You know what? I understand the value of that. I know what that feels like. I love it. It's one of my favorite feelings in the world, is to belly up to a bar with friends, have a drink, and just talk. And if we can keep doing that, if Derek and I can keep that feeling going, I want to. That is something I can't let go. So that's why I'm still here. That's why Derek's here. That's why we're going to try to bring you the same thing over and over again. And the reason is because of people like the Jackal, people like Teeter, people like Big Lou, people like, I mean, this Discord's full of them. It's hard to keep talking. People like Patty. Oh, fuck Patty. Everybody just, if you've not experienced John Patty in your life, just show up. It is going to hurt you and you're going to love it.
You're going to give me shot someday.
It is probably a coin flip, honestly. So, so while the Jackal said something very, what people will take as somewhat generic and somewhat like, oh, I just loved all of it. No, I get where he's coming from. Mm-hmm. I understand it. And I appreciate it. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I'm going to, because that's what I do. We love you, buddy. Thank you.
That's right. Much love. All right. What else do we have here? Oh God. This was posted and Jordan touched on it, but I just want to be clear. We don't agree with the end of this statement, but we're going to go into it. I like when you talk about me and how great I am, and that burgers should be consumed as saucy soups. That is, listen, okay. I'm a sauce girl. Food is only there for me to get sauce into my mouth. Okay. But absolutely not. I draw the line.
So, Derek, you might not know this. Rhodey is I almost said West Virginia-ite, but an Iowan. He's an Iowan.
That is not the same.
No. Well,
nope. You fucking stop right there.
From England couldn't tell you apart. Let's just say that.
Wow.
So he is an Iowan, and the first time I met him, he's a big jolly fellow. He's funny. He's hilarious. We're
a legend. Just call him a legend.
He's truly a legend. The guy's insane. We're sitting in a restaurant, and it's like a burger joint in New Jersey, and it's like, it's like a make your own. There's all these sauces you can get, and Rhodey he orders the custom hamburger, and he says a couple of toppings, and then he gets to the sauces, and he says 2 sauces, and then he says a third, and he says a fourth, and then he said all of them but like 2. I mean, Derek,
there were 8 sauces.
He says all of them but like 1 or 2. And he quaffled on one and was like, yeah, let's include it. So he gets his burger. It's just stripping. It's disgusting. It's disgusting to even tell the story, because I can picture it in my head, and no one else can appreciate this the way we all do for being there and looking at it. It's horrifying to look at. And what does this motherfucker do? He just takes the burger, he squishes it down, and all of the sauces come dripping out, and he eats it. And it's a little soupy, saucy plate. And the waitress is standing there horrified. I mean, she didn't know that, like, being a waitress at a bar and grill downtown was like a CTE, like, advantage job. Like, she didn't think, like, oh my God, I might as well play in the NFL. Like, she's just watching this, and he's like, he eats the whole thing, does the classic, like, big man finger licking thing, and then he goes, it was all right, I guess. Oh my God. So, when someone says, like, he consumed the burger as a saucy soup, like, I don't think there's a way to describe that other than, like, that's how it was. He, like, basically drank this hamburger.
I also would like to be clear, he complained that the bun was soggy.
He did complain that the bun was soggy.
He did complain the bun was soggy. Oh my God. He's like, yeah, it was a little soggy, and it was okay.
I have never seen, like, it looked like the shit that the Toxic Avenger was made out of. Like, it's the shit he fell in to become the Toxic Avenger. 2 and all. It was absurdly horrifying, and all of us could just stare at this train wreck. He smushes it. So the juices from the burger come out and start mixing with this horrifying amalgamation. He picks it up, takes a bite, chews, and all of us are just in wide-eyed horror. And then he goes, it's okay. And all of us just freeze. We don't know what to say. We don't know what to do until he's like, I mean, it could use ketchup or something along those lines. We're like, what the fuck are you talking about? It has piles of sauces. It was literally a soup.
It was.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Jordan, there are tears in my eyes from you retelling that story in the way that you did.
Oh my God.
That was perfect.
Yeah, no,
Just
it's kind of crazy. And that was the first time I met the guy, really.
Mm-hmm.
And the Uber over there. I don't think we met. Like we chatted when you introduced me to Iowa people, right? But
yeah.
I hadn't really sat and like talked to the guy. And then all right, that's what we ordered. So
honestly,
Derek, if you ever get asked to go to dinner with Rody, you need to go.
It is Rody rapidly became, upon meeting him, one of my favorite people in the world, just because he is exactly the blend I need in humanity, of self-aware, weird as shit, and just the perfect assassin. When you meet those people that are honest to God assassins, they're quiet until they have the single perfect line, and then they strike. And it annihilates an entire table, and the target of the barb feels like they've lost 5 years from their life. He is that type, and it's amazing. And sometimes it targets himself. So he's probably shaved 40 years off his life since I've met him, but it's quite amazing to be
At least 40 years based on his dietary habits.
The salt intake alone. There was one last one from Salty Sea Cat, which is Elaine, you said theater. Now, I want to be clear. We're not shitting on Elaine. She makes questionable decisions, which make Charmer sit in the back of cars because the pizza box in the front seat is more important. She thinks that giant dice on a video board that is no less than 200 feet away are a threat to her existence. She does not, make the best choices when it comes to describing her dietary habits. But I think we can draw the line at pronouncing it and insisting to pronounce it as theater. Who in the fuck is doing that shit?
Somebody who dresses as sexy Chester Cheeto. That too.
Okay, to be fair, it is Letterkenny Day. That video on Insta or TikTok or whatever did get like 6 million likes. Like, I get it.
Yeah, sure, whatever. But the story of how we got to that point,
it took a lot.
It took
a
lot.
village. Yeah.
And when I think about somebody who goes on a journey like that, and it's real and it's serious, it's not a bit, like that's their life. That is somebody who says theater, because that's their life, is theater.
Well, okay.
So it makes perfect sense to me. In fact, I would be more shocked if she said it correctly, because I would expect nothing less than theater from Elaine.
So, yeah, that entire bar trip was fucked from the word jump, because all I remember is Abby and Jordan rolling up to the front of the convention center or wherever we're at, whatever that place is called, and Jordan rolling down the window, the back seat's full, and going, "Get in the Tiguan." And I'm like, well, I'm not going to say no to that. And so we throw Elaine across like three of us, because it was me. I think it was me, Mike, and Tommy in the back with Elaine laying across us. We arrive at this bar in the random bar in Columbus. I don't know why this was the choice.
It was 5 minutes from my house.
It was very close. That was
fair enough. And so we end up ordering some drinks or whatever. Then like 9 other people show up from the area, and I to this day don't know how they knew we were going. I'm assuming Jordan told them.
Yeah.
And I remember Flake was one of them.
Yeah.
I remember going to the bathroom and having a piss and then coming back out, and Flake is having a conversation. He's like, "So how was it?" And I'm like, "How was what?" And he's like, "How was the piss?" And I'm like, weird question, but okay. And I stopped and thought, I'm like, this is actually kind of important. I'm like, well, the urinal is entirely black, so it kind of felt like I was pissing in Darth Vader's mouth. So if you go have a piss, I need you to come out and tell me how it felt. And he's like, okay. 5 minutes later, this happens. He comes out, and he's got this giant smile on his face. And I'm like, so? He's like, I feel powerful. And I'm like, okay, that's all I needed to know. We both had the same feeling, pissing into a urinal that we thought was Darth Vader's mouth because we were hammered, and we're good to go from here. I honestly thought when we were all going back to the hotel that I was going to sleep. We did not. We did not go to sleep. Jordan, what did we do?
I'm not in the best position to tell.
Derek, what did we do?
Remember.
Derek, what did we do?
Derek was between the wickets, so.
I mean, what happened was we invaded Tommy Dong's hotel room and didn't let him go to sleep. That's what happened. We invited a representative from LSS to hang out with us, and then proceeded to be loud enough to like result in noise complaints and Tommy kicking us out at one point. But
so the only thing I remember was I was texting Derek the room number, and he knocks on the door and he goes, "You didn't need to text me the room number. I heard you as soon as I got off the elevator."
That was Alex. Yeah, that was the same night I asked Alex if they celebrated Christmas in New Zealand. Yeah. So we all did a little bit of it that night. It is one of my favorite memories. It is second only to the original Speakeasy, which, Jesus fuck, that was fun. Like, that was such a good time. I'm so happy that the Realm won the Speedy for the best LGS. Like,
yeah,
that was not easy competition. MinMax, we've talked a lot about how MinMax has done a lot for the community because they bring everything to events, and that's super helpful. Like, there are people who probably have wanted to mouth kiss people, the MinMax move, for bringing the random 10-cent common that they didn't have. And they just do that. Then the other one was Green Tree, and I think that Green Tree's a little bit, I wouldn't say late to the party, but Green Tree Sports Cards has just been growing exponentially the last like couple months. Like, they're sitting at 26 to 30 person armories, which is ballistic shit. That's crazy. And but the Realm is really just kind of, to me, the bar. And it's not just because we're friends. It's not just because of anything else. It's because of the fact that the events they throw are unreal. They bring in coverage. They broadcast the events. They put up prize pools that are worth fighting for. They want to draw the community in, and not because they want to make money, although, obviously they are a retail establishment. We live in the corporate hell that is America, but it's because they care and they want people to have the best experience, and they'd have done nothing but show that every single time that they are in it for the long haul. They're in it for this community, and they're in it to make sure that they are providing the best time for everybody involved. Tip of the hat. My hat's backwards. The bill's in the back, so I can't tip it really. But tip of the hat to Keith and Jacob. You're crushing it. Please keep doing it. We all love it. We all value it. So please keep going. And that's what's brought us two of my favorite memories, I should say, from this year, which are the Speakeasy and then that random fucking night where Flake pissed in Darth Vader's mouth.
There you go, folks. Everybody wanted that story, I'm sure. All right, especially. We have three.
Flake especially, yeah.
We have 3 listener questions this week. The first one is from Cass. If I win a Pro Tour or Worlds next year, will Jordan and Abby come back to interview me? 100% yes.
Yes.
There you go. Easy
Not
question.
Dagan, though.
No.
Dagan followed up with what about me? And I said, yeah, it saves the spend of my life or something. But for Cass, absolutely.
Dagan kind of abandoned us a little bit, but that's fine. Because if like anybody from his team shows up there, Abby, you can say it now.
That's the number 7. It's a 7 drink show. Sorry.
But how many beers?
2.
2. Only ever. Well, no, there's been a couple.
That's the way the officer
shows.
Will distinguish it for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Dagan, like Jordan and I might have lost our teammate because Dagan, probably feel compelled to team with the Team Ascent guys now, so it makes me sad.
I hope for a casual sealed tournament he would still buddy up with us.
I bet that my team would run it back with me.
I mean, they definitely would. Like,
you were May and Chris, right?
Yeah, May and Chris, which is just ringer and ringer.
Did you like a 4th place finish?
3rd. I still have the envelope. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I saw the Fab TCG Armory page, so
Oh yeah, can you send me that link?
leave me alone.
All right. Question.
Yes, I will absolutely come back to interview fappers that win
Yes.
PTs or World Championships for sure.
All right. Question number 2 is from Sleepy Jackal. This is for Jordan and I. What is the coolest non-fab thing you've encountered as a result of the podcast?
I mean, we've kind of talked about it a lot throughout the show, and Logan just spoke about it, but it's the relationships probably. And I don't know if you could like, if you meant like a tangible thing, it's probably going to like a place I've never been before, like New Jersey. I've never been to like Jersey City. Like traveling to see places in the world is great. You know, like getting to travel to Charlotte with my dad for every tournament in Charlotte is like top tier. Like that's probably it. But in terms of like intangible stuff, it's definitely the relationships. Like met Derek through this, met Matt DeMarco through this. I've met the guys at the Realm Games through this, right? I've met so many people like Cass and Dagan and all of the Iowa guys. And not that Cass is an Iowa guy. I framed
He's
like
not.
He was.
He's from Cleveland.
He's from here, yeah. But like all of the people in our Discord that I've had the opportunity to meet, and just like all of the, you know, that stuff, the relationships are definitely A1A for me. And we wouldn't have done that probably without Fab. But like I would just be like a normal guy. Not that I'm not a normal guy, but I would just be like with my 5 or 6 friends that also play Fab at these big tournaments and not be part of like a broader community probably. And not there's anything wrong with that. Like do what you like to do, but I've made so many friends I couldn't imagine not knowing them now. Tommy and Elaine and all those people that, you know, Caroline, all these people that have become very integral friends to my life. And it's, you know, it's funny. It's easier to think of the podcast than it is to think of the personal a lot of the time. That's how you know you're in the content creation space is you're like, okay, instant speed. Oh yeah, I met Matt. Okay, like pitch perfect. Yeah, Elaine. You know, Fresh and Buds. Oh yeah, Tommy. You know, it's kind of the way that my mind remembers it, which is interesting. But it's definitely the people. I love the local community that that people have fostered here in Columbus. I love being part of a national community as well, and I've gotten to do that because of Flesh and Pot.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm going to tell the story for the 85th time, but the Realm, I went in to buy packs randomly one day, and Keith was talking to me, and I was telling him that I was getting ready to start a podcast with those two, and he was like, oh, like, would love to work with you. Let me, you know, here's my info. Like, we should absolutely get in touch. And I remember thinking it was weird, which I've told Keith, so it's not a secret. But, you know, I never would have thought anything about it. And we've gotten to do some really cool stuff because of that. So it's been great. And then question number 3 is from Big Lou. Guess I got to shoot my shot now. You're casting a Flesh and Blood movie, but your budget is crap and all you can afford are the Muppets. Which Muppet will play which hero?
Are you going to miss this?
Nope.
I like you,
not
dude,
at all.
God damn it.
I have set exactly one. Miss Piggy would play Valda.
So I've thought about this, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start naming Muppets. You tell me what character the Muppets are. This might be easier.
Okay.
Miss Piggy's taken. Okay. So low-hanging fruit.
I thought she was Dorinthia, but
but
Valda works too.
But Dory's more of a cow than a pig. So in the Letterkenny sense, not in the, you know what, fuck it.
You know, in the political scheme sense.
Oh yeah, I guess there's that. Yeah. Okay. So Kermit.
Bravo.
No.
What? Yeah, okay, you're 0 for 2.
Yeah. Okay, I am not 0 for 2, but when I think of Flesh and Blood, that's the first hero. Like he's
really?
You think
Bravo
of main characters.
Bravo is a main character, and Kermit is a main character.
I can see that association, but to me, Bravo is Fozzie Bear because they're both performers. Specifically, like Starvo, especially star of the show, is Fozzie Bear, and so if that's Fozzie, then I really like the idea of Kermit, but not traditional Kermit. Think of the meme where it's like Kermit talking to his dark side self. Dark Kermit is Viscerai.
with the hood up and like the yeah, do it. Yeah.
Huh. The Muppet discourse is strong in this
I
podcast.
have strong opinions about this Muppet casting. I'll tell you
Okay.
right now.
all right. So
for this one.
we're moving on. Okay. Gonzo. Great radio, folks.
Yeah.
I was giving you guys a shot before I.
He's a performer. Is he Bravo? I don't know. Like, he's a big performer. He likes to be liked. He's a little anxious.
There's the one.
So because I had Fozzie as Bravo, and because there is limited gender representation in the Muppet universe, so you've got to do some bending, in my opinion. I had Gonzo as Dash.
There you go.
Okay.
That one makes sense.
Okay, that's a good point. The gender representation is a little tough, so that's a good point.
Okay. Right. Bunsen and Beaker.
So Beaker is Kano. Let me just jump right on that. There's no way you can convince me that Beaker's not Kano.
All right. I can't argue. Like, that's great, but pew, 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 pew. Gotcha. Okay. Bunsen.
The burner. I'm sure Derek has the perfect one because you're like 5 for 5. But do you have anybody
crushing it?
Bunsen was one that I didn't have a good match for. I feel like if we had a second mechanologist that wasn't Dash, then I would go with it because it feels like that's the fit. And I don't. Or if we had our alchemist yet that we don't have, then I would consider there. I have somebody else picked for Genus. Otherwise, I think he'd be a good Genus What You Need. But unfortunately, my pick for Genus is the Swedish Chef.
Oh, God damn it. Why did you have to step on my dick? God damn it. Swedish Chef is Genus. You're 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I can't argue with that one. I was hoping no one had that because I had the Swedish Chef lined up as Genus from the jump.
I mean, it's so good.
It's so good.
So well.
What about
Rolf.
Sam the Eagle?
Rolf.
Rolf?
No, we're on Rolf.
Rolf.
Oh, okay.
Oh God, Rolf's a dog.
Rolf is a dog. Ish. He's a weird looking dog.
Yeah.
Also does comedy.
Yeah. So I had Rolf as my he was my Bolton. I was trying to remember. So Rolf was my Bolton because
I think you missed that one.
Well, because Rolf is just kind of lovable, and that's the way I think about Bolton. I don't ever think of Bolton as threatening. And I know that's a slap in the face to Bolton, right? But whenever I'm like, oh, I'm playing against Bolton, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. You're such a good boy, right? Like,
oh, Jesus Christ. Every Bolton stand in the world is like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I play a lot of Bravo and discard heavy Bravo, so like I just do not ever worry about
you
the
don't give a
combo.
shit. Yeah.
Like the very first Road to Nationals I played, and I 38-0 to Bolton, and ever since then I've just never lost.
Never
to
taken the
Bolton.
Sam race seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I get it. So, Jordan, Abby, do you have any discussions on Rolf?
I do not.
No, I'm very bad at this one.
So I'm going to Muppet Babies for this one.
Oh God.
Okay.
Scooter and Skeeter. Oh, there's some Googling. I did it. Let's go.
So Scooter and Skeeter, for me, I had as my Phi and Dromai.
There you go. That's where I was going with this. There's a guy that knows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, I believe you.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
And
You guys had a lot of Muppet-based fun when we leave, all right?
Yeah. Oh God.
Look, it's not like there are a lot of Muppets, right?
Yes.
There's one Muppet that stands above all, and we're not going to get to. I mean, I'm going to ask that one last. So we're 2 away. Sam the Eagle, you can do if you want to. Jordan,
I had that as my Arachne.
Okay.
You'd say him as your Arachne?
Yep. Because he's the legal assassin, man. There's nobody else who comes close to being an assassin, as far as I'm concerned. So I had Sam the Eagle.
Oh my God.
God, okay.
He's starting Freedom, one contract at a time.
Dr. Teeth.
Oh, I didn't have a Dr. Teeth. I forgot about him.
That should have been Bravo. He's the
maybe
front of Electric Mayhem.
Cavdine?
Ooh.
You know what?
I have Cavdine as somebody else, but that's pretty good.
Gold-toothed, kind of shifty.
Yeah. Because we're doing the gender bend thing, I would say Dr. Teeth would be my Lexi then.
Oh, okay. I'm not mad at it.
That's fair.
I mean, it's the only other like electric theme thing, right? And I don't have another good fit for
Okay,
Lexi.
so one more before the capper. So Rizzo the Rat.
I had this as my chain.
Yeah, all right.
I like Jane.
He is kind of a little bitch. And then the last one that we're gonna do for this question, the capper, Animal.
Reiner, hard. I had Animal as Reiner, and I know you said we're only doing one more, but I just need to say Pepe was my emperor.
I have Animal not as Reinar. I have Animal as a different brute.
Oh, as Levia?
Oh no, he's KO.
Oh, KO. Yeah, I could see
That dude is
too.
KO.
I could see that.
He is ballistic chaos, just rolling dice, hoping it works. He is. I mean, you ever watch that dude play drums? There's no rhythm. He's just going. He's hitting skins until they erupt. Like, he is KO.
Pepe is the Emperor is really good, Derek.
Pepe is the Emperor is great. I love that one. That one's fantastic.
He's the king.
I mean, King Kong. Yeah.
All right. So who is the old men? What are their names?
Statler and Waldorf.
Yep, Statler and Waldorf.
Oh, that's a good question.
I think it's like Flake and Derek, just kind of like from the commentary booth, like, "Oh, I'm gonna mess up that game there."
Probably Tannen and Flake, but sure. But oh wait, Tannen and Derek are the same person. It's fine.
I was gonna say it's probably Tannen and me since we're the old ones, and Statler and Waldorf are the old men.
Okay. Are you older than Flake?
I am older than Flake. Yeah.
All right. He turns like 39 or something soon.
No, I think he just turned 38, but
okay, whatever it is. But either way, that was actually kind of a fun one. You get a pass, Teeter. Or was that Lou? That was Lou.
It was Lou.
Okay.
That was a fun one. That was fun.
Yeah.
Okay, Lou, we'll give you that one. That one was fun.
All right.
Last time, Abby, make it count.
So hold on, I gotta compose myself. All right, so we'll do our Patreon shout outs. So we have our associate producer, which is Andy, and then we have our executive producer and up. We have Chris, May, Philip, Taylor, Ed, Josh, Kenny, Nick, Teague, Ben, Alan, and Michael. If you are interested in signing up, patreon.com/flushandpod. There are 4 tiers and it will spell it out for you. As always, you can find us on Twitter at FlushPod. You can join our Discord. The link will be in the show notes. You can give us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. You can like and subscribe on YouTube. You can shoot us an email at flushandpod@gmail.com. My personal Twitter is at AbbyD83. I haven't been tweeting because I don't know why. I don't even have a good reason. But yeah, I tweet about possums that I never got. I retweet Green Bay Packers things. I did that today. Mason Crosby.
Was it
527 games.
256? Close.
256. That's whatever.
Did you retweet the Alan Lazard block?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh my God! So on one of those plays, the play that Aaron Jones sprung for a big gain, Lazard took a Miami defender and blocked him into 2 other defenders and pancaked.
Oh, and they all. Yes, I did see that.
And then he pulled up and then counted them as his celly. He just went 1, 2, 3. And it was just like, God damn, that is some bad manners bullshit for a wide receiver to take a linebacker and 2 DLs that are on the ground and just say, yeah, fuck all 3 of you. He could have been better. Instead, he just got blocked down by a kid from Urbandale, Iowa. Get fucked, nerds.
Yeah. All right, Logan.
Yeah, you can find me at Logan Peterson on Twitter. Generally shit posting, not exactly. I've been quiet lately, or a little more quiet lately. A lot of that is because it's been we're in flux, right? Like with the show, with Derek coming in, Abby and Jordan leaving. There's some things that I have not said publicly as far as how I feel about all of it, but I do want to say I do appreciate every single person that's reached out to me privately to check on me. While I know that I said that don't worry about me, and I do mean that, I am fine. I still appreciate checking in. It's not been easy. Luckily for me, Derek is here and has helped to alleviate any stresses that I would have through the transition. And also speaking to people that are close to the show. I know that I have all the support in the world still, and that is very meaningful. So thank you very much. We are going to keep going. And I did struggle pretty hard with whether or not to keep going. It was not the easiest of decisions. It was not made in haste. Either way, I had to really ask myself, do I want to do this without Jordan and Abby? And if the community we had built, or we have built, I should say, wasn't as strong, vibrant, and fucking fun as it is, I never would have. But I am terribly proud of what, and to the level of probably a sin by Christianity, proud of what we have built. And I'm not ready to let it go. I do believe that the only person that I could think of outside of Abby, Jordan, you're not it, to keep me on the rails is Derek Oswald. So I hope that going forward, there's going to be some bullshit. There's always going to be some bullshit. I am who I am. I won't stop being who I am. Derek is who he is, which is also kind of just a off the train, off the rails motherfucker. He thinks some stupid shit sometimes, and he will say it out loud. But that being said, we do this for us. I'm not going to lie and say that we do this for you. We do this for us. But the fact that we also do it for you will continue to make it worth doing. So we're going to keep going. Jordan and Abby are not going to be strangers. Jordan has been a friend for 10 years. Abby a little bit less, but I feel like we're as close as if we've been friends for 10 years. It doesn't actually matter. Sometimes you meet people and time is irrelevant to how close you are. And that's Jordan. That's Abby. That's Flake. That's Elaine, that's Tommy, that's Derek, that's a host of people I've met through this game. So at that point in time, we're going to keep going for now. And if it turns into something we don't want to do, we'll stop doing it. But right now, we are going to keep going because it means a lot to me, and I hope it means a lot to you. Jordan?
Follow me on Twitter. A tweeter.
You do not. You tweet about cricket.
I just tweeted AI-generated art of Elaine running from a dice in a casino. So you should seriously check this art out. I posted it in Discord and on Twitter. It's
evil
fucking insane.
For evil's purposes is only way that evil is actually valid.
This is actually just fucking insane art, by the way. No, yeah, like Logan said, I'll still be in the FAP Discord. Still be active on Twitter. I do tweet a lot about cricket. Like, it's not a flesh and blood. It's not a flesh and blood Twitter. It's a cricket Twitter. So a lot of people have reached out and asked, like, if we're gonna make stuff. I'll speak for myself. I don't know what Abby's gonna do with her time, but probably not. If I do, it'll be very very random writings. Probably writing was the original way that I got into content creation. Made some money writing about Magic in college, and then I've actually kicked around getting back into shoutcasting StarCraft 2 VODs. That was like my first part of my first YouTube channel was StarCraft 2 casting. So I've thought about doing that in the spare time, but probably not.
Fair.
There was a subreddit called Cast It, And basically, if you wanted your vodcast, you could like post your StarCraft replay and have people do it. And I was one of the regular like contributors on there. And like my first taste of like the juice in the algorithm was I had made like a very conscious effort to make my like to make my post like appealing to like clickbaity, right? And like, you know, at the time it got like 3,000 views like overnight, and at the time that was huge for me, and like it was pretty sweet, and like I was like, oh, I'm doing this for life. And then well, so I got a gig to cast the Collegiate Star League, okay, which was like,
Yeah, I remember
like
that.
it was an up and coming league at the time, except it was my senior year of college, and they had a cast meeting Wednesday nights, and then like would, you know, record the show like Fridays and Saturdays. And so it was really tough, like being a senior in college and having 3 nights of your like week dedicated to like not being a senior in college and like being a nerd casting video games, you know? And so like backed out after the preseason tournament. And then that was the year that they actually paid commentators for the first time because they had enough money, and they flew everybody out to California for the grand finals and paid commentators.
Obviously.
God damn it.
Obviously.
So that was the end of StarCraft 2 casting for me. But if you ever want a good trip, you can go on my YouTube and like look at my old videos, and like there's some, I wore like a shirt and tie on some of these like 20-year-old.
You barely wore a shirt and tie to your wedding.
Yeah, I wore a shirt tied on my wedding for like the first quarter of it. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. And then like, don't do it to court. I don't go to court anymore, largely because dressing up is a scam. So, but yeah, go check that stuff out. It's really funny to look at like 2009, 2010 graphics. But anyway, I'll still be around probably. Derek?
You can find me watching Jordan's old StarCraft 2 casts because that sounds fantastic. As somebody who's done casting, I am now 100% intrigued. I will be going back and I will be giving you notes. And thank you. It's gonna make my night, actually. Outside of that, I'm Derek, but it's spelled funny, and I'm Charmer, but it's spelled funny. And
spelled funny, yeah.
There will be plenty of times for me to plug socials in the future. For now, I would just say you can find me here next week. That's the real important piece. And then we will officially start the clock. I think that every episode, we should say this is episode 1 or 2 or 3, etc., toward me getting Logan to quit, because I don't think he knows what he's got himself into. He says that I'm here to alleviate him, but I think it's the other way around. He is stuck with me. It's the old Rorschach. You're not you're trapped in here with me, right? Like you're not having me trapped in here with you. It's the other way around. But
it's really, really horrifying when both of us are Rorschach in that scenario.
I will say, you know, publicly that my condition for joining Logan right out of the get was that if for any reason Jordan and Abby ever want to come back, they always have a spot. This is still their baby, their show. 100%. Like I wanted to ensure that was always a thing. So, you know, I'm glad to hear that they'll still be around, and we'll miss you too. But I hope that I run into you digitally. I hope that I run into you in person, and I hope that I can continue to tell Jordan how charming he is. So, yeah, that's
anytime you want, just call me.
That's
and I hope. Oh, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Finish. Abby.
I was gonna say I hope that I remember who you are when I see you next.
Oh boy,
brutal.
You'll remember because I'm one of those obnoxious people that yells Abby.
Is that when she's sleeping off a hanger over in the streaming room, or is that Jordan?
I was not sleeping that day. I was working.
Yeah, no, it was Jordan.
That was Jordan who was sleeping. Some of us had like actual responsibilities. So shout out to Abby for judging. And me for babysitting. You know, some of the other casters who were feeling it that day, but
Abby was logistics, which she absolutely annihilated throughout the weekend. The funniest part of this is it was 2:30. I remember this very vividly in Tommy Dong's. We're just going to use that name from now on. Hotel room.
Does he have another name? Because he's only
his name's Tommy.
Tommy Dong.
Forever. Tommy Dong it is, and we're in Tommy Dong's hotel room, and I look at my watch and go, hey, Charmer, do you know what time it is? Or I said, Charmer, what time is your cast call tomorrow? He's like, I don't know, 7:30 in the morning. Like, it's like 2:45, bro. Oh, shit. Yeah, we need to get going because you really need to make that call.
Jordan and I won't be here, but we'll still be around, and you now know where to find us if you didn't listen to the other 58 episodes that told you.
55?
55. Oh, it's 57. Listen.
Well, there technically have been two or three extras. Is it two? There's the round table, and then is there one or two emergency pods? I think it's just
two
one.
Emergencies.
Okay, well, either way.
Yeah.
Abby might just randomly be right when she didn't mean to be.
There's also the unreleased basement cuts.
Oh, there's a lot of those. Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes Logan says shit he shouldn't say. It's almost always my fault.
Shocking.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay. That is all we have for this week, and half of us will talk to you next week. Bye.